Hello, I am so excited to be talking to you today about something very, very dear to my heart. I'm talking to you today about a vision that I have carried for almost 25 years. About 24 years ago, I had an intense spiritual awakening. Some might call it a Kundalini awakening. I was on my hands and knees on my university art room floor, and I was sculpting a relief. And I was covered in clay, and the relief that I was sculpting was of a Shakti woman, a power woman. I had been reading, among many other books, Vicky Noble's book, Shakti Woman. And as I am sculpting this powerful woman, I was making an inquiry of my work as to what it would feel like to be like this woman. How would it be to be a Shakti woman, and what would that feel like in my body? And as I made this inquiry, the most incredible, ecstatic sensations started flowing through my body like nothing I had ever dreamt of or felt before. Actually, perhaps I had imagined them. Because I think I knew that this state, this feeling existed, because I had been looking and searching in many, many places. But as my arms were lit up and my hands felt like they were going to burst off the end of my arms, and the back of my head felt like it was going to explode, and the entire room was filled with blinding, brilliant, divine light that is love, I was filled with a knowing that it was stronger than any knowing I have ever had before, that the creative process, and contained within the creative process, is the power to heal anything. Any of the human conditions, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, can all be healed through the creative process. And I knew this with every fibre of my being. As if to demonstrate just how much of a transformation one can undergo when experiencing this energy, I stood up and went to move closer to some of my classmates. I wasn't sure I was going to talk to them because I couldn't really speak at this stage, but I felt like being next to people. And I'm walking across the room, and as I was walking across, I noticed that looks on these people's faces were just like their jaws just dropped, and I heard this crunching sound, and I was brushing something off my bare feet, and I turned around to see that I had walked through a pile of broken bottles and drinking glasses that had been smashed the night before in a very rowdy art exhibition opening that we'd had at the university. And I looked at this pile of jagged, broken glass and stared with complete amazement and wonder that I had just walked through that. I didn't have a scratch on me. I didn't feel anything. I was quite oblivious to that, apart from the sound it made. I have no doubt in my mind, had I walked through that pile in any other state, I would have cut my feet to absolute shreds. And that was just one of the very many miracles that I witnessed over this period of my life. I'm not going to go into them now, but what I do want to talk to you about is an enduring vision that came out of this time, and that is for me to create a centre that houses. I pause at centre because it's almost more than a centre. It was centre, village, university, gathering place. Really a new way for working our society. But let's stay with centre for now. The centre that I envisaged was a place where young people who are undergoing a spiritual transformation can come to be safe from the prying eyes of society. Because at this delicate phase, I was very aware that this was a process that I needed to go through within, without any external judgment being projected on me. I was very, very lucky to be able to have that for myself, and I wanted to be able to provide that for others. I also thought of all the young people that I was looking at around me who had this creative surge coming through them that wasn't being given a place to develop and to flourish. In fact, it was actively being stomped out. And I wanted to provide a space where these young people could come and stay and maybe take some time out of society to go within and explore their creative visions and see what their soul was asking of them, or just to explore. I could see at that stage how important it was to match this creativity and consciousness expansion with more grounding activities such as growing food, gardening, and craft, traditional crafts of weaving, spinning, natural dyeing, and how this juxtaposition of soaring through our cosmic consciousness and grounding into the earth-based, more seemingly mundane activities was actually a very magical combination for helping to establish a way that which we can expand our consciousness with ease, with grace, and with stability. So often when people expand their consciousness, they don't have anything to ground and to anchor that expansion, and they tend to go a little bit unbalanced. So grounding that expansion is so important. And not only is it important for ourselves, but it's important for the earth and her relationship with the cosmos. This is something that I have come to understand much more deeply over the past few years. Now, this grand vision, whilst I've had it and carried it with me for 25 years, has not been something that I have actively had in the front of my vision. In fact, I would say I have let that vision go. But what do they say about when you love something and it comes back to you, that you know that it is true love? Well, I know that this vision is my soul work vision. It is what I am here to cause and create. And because it has come back to me with such a renewed, I wanted to say ferocity, so maybe that is the word that we're going to use, but such a renewed enthusiasm and drive. And I realize now that over the intervening 20 years where I had let that vision go, that I had actually been actively accruing all the skills that I needed in order to be able to bring this vision into a reality. I have studied esoteric meditation and learnt how to train people to expand their consciousness. I have got over my fear of public speaking, and I now revel in teaching, when before it had me quaking in my boots, and I didn't know how I would possibly manifest this vision when I couldn't even speak in front of 3 people. I have studied herbalism and natural healing for many, many years and become an expert in my field. I have accidentally become a world-renowned weaver and natural dyer. I love to explore the craft that I didn't have any patience for in my 20s. And so as I come to you now, I am so excited to be bringing this vision of a new way of coming together in community, a new way of coming together to bring our creativity in a grounded way to explore our consciousness. And I'm calling all of you that are wanting to create a physical network of spaces where we can create these new communities, new ways of living. This is a way that we are coming together to live in community, to live and breathe and coexist in a new way of consciousness. And that is my soul work. And that is what I'm inviting you to share with me. All my love to you, and I will hopefully see you all very soon. Bye-bye.